So we're doing arithmetic sequences, which, by the way, happens to be what type of function? Does any of you know what type of function? Yes. It is. It's a linear function. Okay? So, you can write this out by this explicit formula. And we're going to use A's instead of X's and Y's, A's and N's. So this is kind of weird. So ready? A sub n equals A sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. Okay? D is the constant difference. So if I have this down, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. What's my constant difference there? 2, okay? My A sub 1 is the very first thing that's written down. Okay? The constant difference is how much it's changing by every time. Okay? So that's your D. All right. For the recursive formula, this is how you write it. That's a bracket. It's going to be A sub 1 equals something. In this case, it's a 2, right? And then A sub n equals A sub n minus 1 plus d. Oops, that should be a d right there. Okay? Another way of saying this is next equals last plus difference. A sub n, oh, okay, let me rewrite that. That doesn't look very good. Okay, sorry. A sub n minus 1 plus d. So, a little d, like up here, difference. So, A sub n.
Is it in the sub category or is it?
No, it's by itself. This is the sub. So, this is the next one in the sequence equals the last one of the sequence plus the difference. Okay? Okay. Any questions about that? Okay, so first example. Suppose you have $250 in savings now and can save $75 each week from a job. This is a typo. It should say explicit. Okay? Write an explicit formula to represent this situation. So my A sub 1 in this case is what? 250. Okay? My D in this case is what? 75. Okay? So my explicit formula is A sub n equals 250 times n minus 1. Oops, sorry. This should be a plus. Okay. Okay, so plus n minus 1 times d. Okay, what's my d again? 75.
Why is it in the sub over here but not sub down here?
Because one's an explicit formula and one is a recursive formula. Okay? This is my explicit formula. Now, I have it like this. I can simplify that. I can multiply this through to both the n and the 1. Okay? So this would be 250 plus 75n minus 75. Okay, so 75n, what is 250 minus 75? 175. Okay? By the way, what is my slope in this case? 75. Okay? So my m in this case is 75. What is my my starting point? Well, I have 250 here. But where's my y-intercept? 175. Okay? All right. So, let's keep going here.
Wait, question.
Yes.
When you simplify it down to 75n plus 175, is that? What is the n?
The n is the number in the sequence. So, like, going back up here,
So if it said like for the 8th week, how much do you have to
yeah,
put in there?
yeah. So this would be the first one in the sequence. This is in sub a sub 1. This is the second in the sequence, third in the sequence, fourth in the sequence, and so on. Okay?
So,
That's what the n is referring to.
so when it says,
Mm-hmm. All right? All right, so now this says write a recursive formula for the same situation. So on this, we're going to first of all put our bracket. This, yep, a sub 1 equals 250. Well, actually, it's not going to be 250. This time it's going to say a to the n minus 1
oh, we keep it?
plus 75. Because you're going to always look at the last one in the sequence that's on the page. So, like, if you go back up here, and the last one I have listed is 10. So what would be my next one? 12, because I'd take my last, add 2 for my next. Okay? So that's a recursive formula. The thing about recursive is it always relies on the ones before it. Whereas an explicit, I can actually put in a number. It's way off in the future. I can put 100 in to find it. But recursive, I have to know what number 99 is in order to find number 100.
So what does the n stand for?
The n stands for the number in the sequence.
For both equations?
Yes. All right.
Wait, is that the answer?
That's the answer.
The bracket?
Mm-hmm.
Is there another bracket?
Nope, that's it. All right, so example 2a is a little different because we do not have a sequence here. We've been given 2 points in the sequence. One's at step 2, one's at step 6. Okay? So on this one, we're going to actually have to write it out like this for the explicit formula. First of all, I need to remember that I'm going to use the formula a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. That's what I'm using on this. So, for my step 2, my a sub n is 14. Equals, what's my a sub 1? We don't know. We don't know what a sub 1 is, so I'm just going to put a sub 1 right here. Plus, what is my n value in this? Nope, 2, because we're at step 2. So it's going to be 2 minus 1 times d, which we don't know yet.
Wait, I don't understand what.
So all we know,
Where
We
did
don't
that
know D and we don't know
Hold on. The
Mhm.
equation, but that equation is different.
it's the same thing. I'm replacing a sub n because I have a sub 2 as 14. And I'm replacing my n here because we're at step 2, it's going to be 2.
And we don't know anyone, and we don't know the difference between them.
Yep. We're trying to find what those are. We don't know them. Okay?
Where did the 2 come from?
The 2 is because a sub 2 is at step 2.
So why didn't you do a sub 2?
No, we want to know what step it is. Just the n itself.
But we do know what step it is. It's 2.
Right. That's why we're replacing the 2 there.
For one. We need the 2 to figure out.
Okay? So now let's do the second one. We need to do the one for a sub 6. How do I set that up? 4 equals a sub 1. Yep.
Wait, where did we get 4 from?
Okay. So now I'm looking at the equation for the second point that we have. We have a sub 6 equals 4. So I'm setting it up the same way. My a sub n is 4.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, I got it. So now what?
Okay, so now we are going to rewrite these and simplify them and then solve them as a simultaneous equation.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So this will now be, let me change my colors here. I've got 14 equals a sub 1 plus 1d, right? The second one is 4 equals a sub 1 plus 5d. Do you guys remember how to solve simultaneous equations?
No.
Yeah, you
Mine is
stack them up.
Subtract them from everything, right? I'm just subtracting everything here. So 14 minus 4 is what? 10. The A's cancel out. Excuse me. And the D's become what? Negative 4D. Okay, so if I solve for D, what do I have? Negative 2.5, right? Okay, that's my D. Excuse me. Now, I need to go back in and find out what my A sub 1 is. So what do I do with that D?
Oh, you put it into the first equation.
Very good. So I'm going to put it in the first equation. 14 equals A sub 1 plus 2.5, right? So what's my A sub 1?
14, I mean, 2.5.
Wait, let's see where minus.
Yeah, because you're going to... Oh, you're right. Excuse me.
How did you find that equation?
It's the very first equation here. I just pulled that one out and I'm replacing it. This should be a minus. So this will be, yeah, 16.5. You're adding 2.5 to both sides. Okay, so now that I have this, I'm going to make my explicit formula. 16.5. So my A sub n is equal to 16.5 plus n minus 1 times what? Negative 2.5. And I ran out of room there.
Sorry, what is it? 16.5 minus 1.
Okay, so now we have this n minus 1 times negative 2.5. I need to make sure that I multiply that through to both of these. Okay? So 16.5 plus minus 2.5n plus 2.5. That's the same thing as saying negative 2.5n plus 18.5. Wait, 19. You're right. 19. I didn't add it right. Thank you. 2.5. I know. 16.5.
2.5
Mm-hmm.
So A sub n?
Yep. Yep. Okay. So that's the explicit formula for above. Now, how do I write a recursive formula for it? I've already found my A1. I've already found my D.
All you gotta do is do little parentheses in the bottom,
Okay.
and then A1 equals 16.5.
16.5. Okay.
And then, yeah.
Okay, say A n sub n minus 1 minus 2.5. Good. So you're really just subtracting the slope, right?
Are you angry?
Okay, so at E sub 5, I'm just going to set it up. 400 equals A sub 1 plus 5 minus 1 times D. Okay, so if I were to write this again, and just to make it a little bit clearer, it would be 400 equals A sub 1 plus 4D, right? Okay, for the second one, for E sub 12, I have 827 equals A sub 1 plus 12 minus 1 times D. So that becomes 827 equals A sub 1 plus 11D. Now, some of you guys asked me if you can switch these two so you can keep it positive. And yes, you may. So you could have this one on the top and this one on the bottom when you add them together. Yeah, it does. It doesn't really matter. So if you were to go through and subtract them, you're going to end up with 427 equals, sure, it doesn't matter. You can, yes. Okay. But when you divide by a negative, it becomes a positive anyway, right? So this,
61.
so this is going to be 61 equals D. Okay? Now, if we put this back into the original equation, I'm going to have 400 equals a sub 1 plus 4 times 61.
139.
Okay, so if I multiply this through, I'm going to have 400 equals a sub 1 plus, is it 156?
244.
Oh, 244. Okay, sorry. Yes, 244. Sorry. This is 244. So you subtract from both sides, it ends up being 156 is the answer for that. That's where I got that. So I got a D, I got an a sub 1. So my a sub n is 156 plus n minus 1 times, what's my D again? 61. So if I actually run that through, I should have 61n plus 95. Okay, so my recursive formula on this is a sub 1 equals 156, and then a sub n equals a sub n minus 1, that should be a minus 1 plus 61.
What is the A1 equals 156, the first term?
That's the first term, yep.
I know that.